Tired of ads interfering with your favorite sports podcasts? Good news. Ad-free listening is available on Amazon Music for all the music plus top podcasts included with your Prime membership. Stay ahead of the game by downloading the Amazon Music app for free or go to amazon.com/sports ad free. That's amazon.com/sports ad free to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
Welcome to Scarlets Fever, the home of Saucepan Central and Westerer is Besterer.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Scarlets Fever podcast. Joining me, Big M, as always, is Catboy, and a regular from our Cymraeg podcast, Carwyn Evans. How are we doing, boys?
Evening.
Good evening. Yeah, it's nice to cross over from the Welsh language to a bit of a English language. I make my debut on this side of the language fence, as it were.
So, what is it for you? Is it first language Welsh or first language? What's easier for you?
First language Welsh. I'm one of those, I'll say, lucky ones in a way that I couldn't speak English till I was 8. So apologies to viewers and listeners if I get lost with some English words. I've only had 30 years of speaking English. I'm not quite up to speed yet.
Yeah, I mean, forgive me if I said this wrong, but dwi ddim siarad yn Gymraeg, ond dwi'n dysgu. Was that right?
That's perfect, and well done, Llongyfarchiadau, for attempting to learn a very hard language to learn at any stage of life. So well done.
I can't speak Welsh at all.
Yeah, it's been about 4 years, and I've got about 10 words in my repertoire. That's about it, as far as it goes. So enough about that. So how have our weeks been, boys? Anything of note?
Not really. No, I went. It was Gloucester. It was the week before last. I went to Gloucester. Went for a walk yesterday out in the countryside because the weather started being nice. Put my washing on the washing line outside. It rained. So that's pretty much sums up how things are going. I'm busier at work now. For all the people who think that I must not have a job because of how much content I put out, I actually do have a job, which is why some of the thumbnails on YouTube and things are taking a bit longer to get sorted out at the moment, because I've been a bit busy doing the thing that I actually get paid for.
What about you, Carl? What have you been up to?
Yeah, so quiet week, just in work really, but obviously an upturn in weather makes things a bit better. My parents are sort of building an extension, and my sister's getting married in a few weeks, so it's a lot of moving things around to get things done for that. So there's I'm not a manual labourer in any sense of the imagination, but there's a lot of moving things and putting things in wheelbarrows at the moment. So nice to get the hands dirty for a while, for a change.
Fun stuff. Well, yeah. For me, it wasn't this past week. It was a week before. Like we had Scott on last week, so we kind of skipped his segment. But on that Friday night, on the 12th, like any self-respecting Scarlet, I was nowhere near Gloucester. I actually went to Cardiff Arena to watch Dayseeker and Pierce the Veil, and honest to God, out to this world. We're in Dayseeker merch right now. No. If you've never been to see either of them, Pierce the Veil especially, the show they put on is outstanding. The lighting, the pyro, the cannons, it's just outstanding. I'd recommend it for anyone. So on to matters this week. We've had a bit of sad news, in the last 7 days. The sheriff, Ken Owens, he's retired with immediate effect. So, how are we feeling about that? Obviously, we kind of expected it, but, still not nice at the same time.
No, like as you say, Mark, we kind of saw it coming, especially because we know that we've been in the market for hookers, and that must mean that one would be leaving, and we kind of had a feeling who it would be. He's obviously had a tough neck injury, I think it was, in the past, and he'd struggled with his back, and the kind of age he is and how long he'd be out, you are thinking, what's the likelihood of him coming back here? So it was a surprise, but then, like, when it actually happens, like, you do get properly sad about it, and all the videos and all the tributes and things he did. Obviously did that interview with S4C that was very moving, and the ultimate Scarlet, really, Mr. Scarlets. No one was more Scarlets than him. Him and Foxy are obviously the big two. But Sheriff never left, even for a year. And was it 2006, his first ever game for us? Something crazy like that.
Yeah, Northampton away, I think, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it started out as a blindside flanker, I think. But he's one of those, he's a bit like, there's a few Welsh players like this that they they peak right at the end of their career. You get, obviously lots of players who peak right at the beginning, a lot of backs especially, and then trying to refine that form for the rest of their career. But Ken's essentially ended his career as starting all three British and Irish Lions tests in South Africa. He also started the warm-up test for the Lions against Japan. He went on the Lions tour before that, and he was Wales captain. He played his last ever Wales game as captain, I believe. And
Yeah.
obviously captain the Scarlets for however long. During our most successful period, he was captain, and it was never in question. I was having this debate with someone, trying to come up with a list of players for Wales who you think you don't remember ever anyone calling for them to be dropped, and there are obviously some legendary players for Wales who I can remember people calling for them to be dropped. I don't remember Ken ever being called to be dropped ever. I don't remember anyone seeing his name on the team sheet and complaining. And as a skill set, in with his retirement, some clips going around and things, he was unbelievable ball in hand. He was like Wales's Dan Coles. Like he could carry the ball, he could hand people off, he was swatting people aside, he had pace. Obviously, as he got a bit older, his game changed and evolved, and he became much more of a physicality in a different way kind of hooker. But it just he had everything that you could want a hooker to have. And like I say, when people call a player a servant, I always think it's kind of damning with faint praise a little bit, because servant to me just says you were around for a long time and you pulled on the jersey loads. No, he was world class. He was the best hooker in the Northern Hemisphere for a time, and he was Scarlets through and through. So absolutely sad. I'm sure that he'll be involved in rugby off the pitch in one way or another, but just a shame to end this way. It would have been nice to give him a proper send off. I don't know. What do you boys think?
Yeah, well, I'm fortunate. Ken and me were in the same year in secondary school. So I've known Ken since we were sort of year 7, year 11 years old. And one thing I do remember is that sidestep dummy he had hasn't changed in 25 years. He used to rock that out in school. And it's funny, sort of, you don't think about these things while somebody's playing, but looking back now that he's retired, his even at sort of 13, 14, 15 years old, you knew there was something special about him, and that he was sort of one of the boys from school who could make a career out of it. He had everything in his game back then, and um, he's such just off the field. He's such a humble man, as in he'll still stop my parents on the street if he sees them and speaks to them. As in he doesn't. He's never forgotten his roots. He's never forgotten where he's from, and he sort of echoed that in his interview with SOC when he mentioned his beloved Carmarthen Athletic,
Mm.
and yeah, it's sort of the word legend, I feel, is thrown about too often in sports these days. But when you think, so you sort of listed him there, ended his career as captain, started as national captain, 3 starting Lion tests, captained the Lions in New Zealand against the Blues, I think it was, as in he was still improving up until the day he got injured. And yeah, he lived every young Welsh child's dream in how he played on the field and in what he gave on the field. And if you need any motivation for any young player out there in whatever sport, show them videos of Ken singing the anthem, show them videos of him playing, as in if there's something to get the blood boiling, it's sort of the passion and enthusiasm Ken, um the how proud he was to represent his club, his country, and the Lions, as in there'll be a massive gap left after him. I just hope from a Scarlets perspective, that they've already signed him up as some sort of coach, even if it's just a motivational speaker for 2 minutes before the start of every game. As in, I think what he can offer any professional setup is just is everything. And yeah, I wish him every success now that his playing career has come to an end.
Yeah, well, he will always be considered as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, especially at hooker. I mean, something that I think epitomizes him the most is when he had those run-outs at 8. It was a case of, yeah, well, we're struggling by here, and he sticks his hand and says, "I'll do it." It didn't matter if that was tight dead, if that was full back, he would have done it, and that was exactly the type of person Ken was. Going back to the start of his career, we're talking the likes of Matthew Smiler being, first choice down here. So that just shows the type of longevity he's had. He beat out Emile Phillips, who's now his coach. It's something that we speak about a little bit with Gareth Davis, the amount of number 9s that he's, pushed aside over the years. But Ken Owens is exactly the same with the amount of hookers that have come after him and gone before him. It's just tremendous. I am now proud to announce that regular starting host, Lee G, has finally returned to us. He needed to go to the toilet, I think. I was about 20 minutes.
Cheers, Matt. I'm assuming we're chatting about Ken. So my favourite memory of Ken was we must have been to watch a game on the Saturday. I think we'd been to watch the Scarlets on a Saturday. And this is back when my boy was playing junior rugby. So we were playing away at Carmarthen Athletic on the Sunday morning. And, kick-off was at like 10:30 or whatever. And there's Ken, we'd watched him the night before playing at Scarlets. And he's there watching, the under 8s, under 9s, under 10s, whatever it was, the next morning and cheering. Not just standing on the side of the pitch, just cheering on the boys. And you're like, I said to someone, "Oh, is his boy playing or something?" No, that's just Ken. That's just what he does, And it's weird because you see him on the telly, even when you see him at the park, and he looks massive, doesn't he? He looks beefy, he looks big and strong. And then he's standing next to the pitch. He's standing next to the side of the pitch, and you go, "Well, that's Ken. That's not Sheriff. Like that guy's tiny. Like he's only 2 piss pots tall. Do you know what I mean?" And for the size that he looks when he's on the pitch, where you see you get the ball and you go, "Yeah, I'm not going to stand in front of Ken." And then you just see him there standing normal, and he just doesn't look that big. And then I don't know what it is, but when he puts that shirt on, and when he steps on the pitch, I reckon he's got something that inflates the shirt or something, because he looks about another like 6 sizes bigger. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it was nice, and it was only a hello Ken and all that, and he just said hello to all the boys and all that kind of stuff, and just were you enjoying your game and things like that. And we got absolutely tonked by Athletic that day. We got taken to pieces by Athletic that day. But yeah, just a really nice guy off the pitch, like you were saying, Carwyn. The guy off the pitch is as nice as the player was on the pitch. So yeah, going to be a massive gap to fill, as you say. So, any other Ken memories that you would like to share, gents? Because the more Ken memories we share, the less time we have to talk about the second half in Edinburgh. Let me put it that way. Yeah. So if you want to share some Ken stories, now's the time to do it, because I'm quite happy doing 30 seconds on the second half against Edinburgh. Trust me.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe we should throw it out to the people to let us know your favourite Ken moments. It'd be nice for somehow, if you could see that, and just, I hope he does, because it can be quite insular sometimes. I hope he is getting a sense of how gutted people are and how much people think of him and things. Because, remember when, there was the threatened strike action and stuff all against England a couple of years ago, who came out to face the music? It was Nigel Walker, head of the WRU, and Ken Owens was there, standing and taking it. So
yeah, baptism of fire as captain of your national team, wasn't it? Having to face the
I don't know why Pivac never made him captain of Wales. I thought it was a shoo-in, but Pivac would Pivac traded his captain around, but Ken was always there. But as soon as Gats came back in, he was like, "Yeah, Ken." So
I think in
don't know
any
what's
other
going on there.
era, he would have been captain 50 plus times for his country. He's just unfortunate that there's a certain second row player from a team we shall not name, who was also very good at the job. But yeah, I think the big thing for me is we all know in sport there is a risk that your career gets cut short by injury, and it happens to a lot of players. But it does feel like if any one player deserved one final run out to get a proper goodbye, I think it is Ken, as in he's given so much for the Scarlets that I think everybody involved in whatever capacity with the region would love to see him run on once more, just to be able to clap him off, even if it came on with 10 seconds left, just to be able to clap him off, because he deserves it so much. As in, I'm gutted for him in that sense that he just doesn't get that goodbye. I feel he deserves as much, if not more, than a lot of players. Then, and I don't mean that disrespectfully to any other players, obviously.
See, I think they should flip that round, and instead of giving him the last 10 seconds, they let him lead the team out for the last game, the last home game. Yeah. Let him take the kickoff, tell him to put the kickoff over the pitch, yeah, and instead of retaking it, everyone goes, right, you're subbed, and off you go. Thank you very much, Ken. I think that would be, knowing Kenny drop it short and we'll just come on, we'll carry on. We may as well play. Let's go, But that for me would be. Has he ever taken a conversion? I'm sure.
No, I don't think he has.
We'd have a 40-minute ball in
age grade. He was invincible at 15. He was invincible at 15. He could do anything he wanted. I'm sure he must have taken a few conversions then.
Ken's that talented that when like Lee Harfany and Dan Bigger in Wales camp were taking kicking practice and Neil Jenkins was coaching them, Ken was going, "Neil, I reckon you want to tell him."
Oh, good. So my last favourite bit about Ken, is there is a cafe on the road. If you're driving from Pembrokeshire up to Scarlets, it looks like a trucker's cafe from the outside. Yeah, it's on the side just before St Clair's, and it's on the side of a petrol station, and it's got these massive, great big logos of Foxy and Sheriff and all of this kind of stuff. But from the outside of it, it's like it's got a blue background, and so the red really stands out. Yeah. So it looks like a proper trucker's cafe, and it's not. It's a really, really high-end, high-class restaurant. People from like miles around go to it because it's got a reputation. If you know, you know. But the guy won't. The guy that owns it won't redecorate it because that's Foxy and Ken. That's Foxy and Sheriff, and they're staying. So you've got this really high-end, posh. Good evening, sir. How are you? Thank you very much. Come on. And then outside you've got this 20-foot bloody face of Sheriff and Foxy on the side of it. It just kind of, that for me says the kind of love that people have for the guy in the region. So
they're the bouncers, man. You don't need to pay anyone when you go there.
The thing is, I kind of have a connection with the chef that's in there. Like my wife knows his wife and things like that. And he's like, he's not a fan of the Scarlets or anything, but everyone kind of comes in and says, does Foxy and Sheriff eat it? No, it's just a 10-foot drawing of them on the wall. That's
just because there's a 10-foot drawing of these players on the side of the place doesn't mean that it's got anything to do with them.
Yeah. Fair play. Right. Okay. So, you'll have to forgive me, Mark. I'm assuming you haven't done season tickets start tomorrow. Well,
not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we hope it. So tradition says, that they've got a little bit of good news to kind of get the media ball rolling, and then they go, season tickets are open. Come on, watch the boys. Yeah, season tickets. So we're hoping that there will be some announcements. There's lots of rumours of Australians and South Africans being announced to come and join the merry club that is the front row of the Scarlets. So hopefully Tuesday will be a big day. And I've cleared my diary in work. I told them nobody phones, nobody messages, video calls. No, my video is broken for all day Tuesday because I'm expecting some big announcements. So if anybody interrupts, woe betide, because that's important. I'm even thinking, now don't tell too many people, but I'm even thinking I might go and get myself a season ticket. So it's just as well that the wife doesn't listen to the podcast. But I know for a fact several family members do. So I'm just going to see how long it takes for that to go around the family and come straight back. And will I have enough time to get my season ticket in and booked before my wife turns around and says, "What was that?" So,
well, I've got some good news here. If you do get your season ticket, they should be frozen at this year's prices, so there'll be no increase in prices. So you still be playing 23, 24 prices. So that'll be good for you.
And with inflation the way it is, that's a 10% discount right there. That's a 10% discount. You can't afford that. You can't leave that on the shelf. As my wife tells me, that was too good a bargain to miss. So I put it in the basket. I think we sorted that one, Matt. I think you done well there, mate.
Bang on. And that's without any extra perks they're going to pile on,
Yeah. Oh,
I think that's sorry to interrupt. I think that's important though, isn't it? As in, it's been. Sorry, I don't want to sound doom and gloom in my first appearance here, but obviously it's not been the best of seasons. And if something's going to entice people to renew or to get season tickets, a price freeze is certainly one way of going about that, I think.
I think the opportunity of being in a seat next to me for the whole season is a bonus enough on its own. Do you know what I mean? I'll bring the drums, I'll bring the hats, I'll bring the trumpets.
Well, can you, if you're going to do that, get a terrace ticket and stay over in the north. I'm sure that drum will last a long time there.
Yeah. Come on, boys, here we go. Boom, 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 we got this.
And it's wrapped around your head 3 seconds later.
Just the launch of the season ticket has also prompted again the asking of the question of, someone at the Scarlets clearly has a very, very high definition camera that they use to create and put out content with. More of this, please. Yeah. Someone every now and again they drop like a piece of footage or a photo that you think, oh, that's good, and then nothing for the rest of the month.
Is it copyrighted, mate? Is it
well, it's got Scarlets logo on it. It's from the Scarlets Twitter. I just want to be clear, even for audio listeners, they're going to describe it. It's from the Scarlets Twitter page. It has the Scarlets logo on it. I am accessing it through Twitter on my phone. I am in no way claiming ownership of this image. Just to be clear.
But to be clear, there is nobody where you cannot clearly see someone in a full Scarlets kit in that photo. They're all covered up in jackets and everything.
And we don't know which. Carwyn's sitting there.
Could have picked a better one.
Carwyn's sitting there going, "What the fuck are you boys on about? What are you talking about?" It's a long story, Carwyn, that goes back to somebody doesn't like us using Scarlet's photos on the internet. And to be fair, it's not even the Scarlets. It's not the Scarlets aren't complaining about it. It's somebody else doesn't like us using Scarlet's photos with us being a Scarlets fancast. So not to worry. So right, let's do Big M's community game rundown, which thankfully at this end of the season is going to be relatively short, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah, they are getting shorter. Before I do dive into the community, there was a small matter of some national under-19s games this week. So Wales under-19s.
I didn't know under-19s was a thing.
Yeah, under-17s, under-19s. They're not in any real competitions. They just
under bridges, under trees, under ladders.
Yeah, they literally just pop them up to get the boys, the younger boys, some game time, have a look at them, because literally they played 2 games and that's it as far as I know. They played against Ireland down in Ystrad Mynach last week and lost, and they played out in Italy this week and lost. But we had a fair few boys out there. So we had Ollie Claus, Ocean Williams, Ellis Payne, Lucas Ataro, Yori Badham, Alex Ridgway, one I picked out to watch from the under-18s, and someone who's already gone under-20 cap in Ellis Price, the younger brother of Jack Price. So he's a fly-half centre. So if you're thinking his brother's Jack Price, you know this boy's going to be bloody huge. So I imagine he's going to be very similar to Eddie James in stature. And then if we drop down into the Scarlets, yesterday, Sunday, for you not listening on a Monday, if it's even released tonight, probably won't be. Wales again. Scarlets under 17s played the Wales Exile 17s. I had two little game run out. One was a draw, I believe, 15-all, and the other one I think we won 36-15. I can't quite remember. I'm doing that off by heart now. I can't remember what I wrote on the scores. So good for the boys to have a run out. The under 16 season has basically been scrapped because of the change of the Dewar Shield. So I suppose this is just a way of keeping those boys having some game time to go into next season's under 18s, which based off this season should be really fun. Okay, so I'm going to dive into community now. Are we going to share the screen or are we just leaving?
Hang on a minute. So before you go into that, right? So now that we do Dewar Shield under 16s, do they do Scarlets 16s East and West and the 4-region competition? That still exists after Dewar Shield?
16s East and West exist. The RAG competition doesn't. They have a few festivals where they play as East and West, couple of, maybe friendly fixtures, a few in-house games before they make a 16s combined. And again, have a few games, blah, blah, blah. Then they have under 17s and then into under 18s.
Of course, Lee, if you'd listened to the Scott Snedden podcast, you'd know all this.
Yeah. Bugger off, because I did. It's just every now and again, the old grey matter isn't particularly retentive.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, as well, Cap, I wanted to talk about the season structure for all the boys, and someone wouldn't let me.
Right, let's do community game quick. Come on, let's rattle through community. I've stunned him now.
Okay, can we all hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, we can now, Matt. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'm in. Yeah. So starting off Premiership, Carmarthen Quins, they travelled to Aberavon, a team that they beat quite comfortably in the reverse fixture. They went down 48-21 this time out. In the starting 15, we had Sam O'Connor, Lewis Morgan, Jack Price staying there for whatever reason, Charlie Titcombe and Iestyn Gwilliam. On the bench was Iestyn Wood and Will Plessy. Good to see Plessy getting some game time at this level. He's been having a few games for Ammanford over the course of the season. So not a great win for Quins. RGC picked up a win this week, so they'd have dropped down a place. So, really got to
Who scored, Mark?
Well, who do you think scored?
Don't know.
Don't know? No one knows. That's the problem. We can assume that, Mr. Titcombe, the second best 10 in the Scarlets region, has made a few conversions, maybe even got a try. You never know.
Could have done.
But other than that, Carmarthen Quins do not like posting their try or conversion scorers.
I can tell you who scored for Aberavon.
Well, you could tell me who scores for every single game that they've played except for them.
Yeah. Do you reckon they're just worried about people coming and stealing players? People going, he's had a couple of tries. Let's poach him. I don't. Quins have got a social media team, haven't they?
Yeah.
So maybe they pay somebody to do their social media, and whoever they're paying is based in Italy.
But Flash Score do the results and the scores for every single Welsh Premiership game, and I can tell you who scored every single point in the Welsh Premiership all season, apart from Carmarthen Quins. I can tell you who scored in Carmarthen Quins games, unless they play for Carmarthen Quins, in which case I can't tell you who they are. It's a thing. There's something going on.
Really weird, isn't it?
Yeah, hopefully it'll change with the EDC. So we'll talk about that in a bit. The other Premiership game, Llandovery, fresh off the nice Premiership Cup victory over Merthyr. They had a break last week, lucky boys. So they hosted Swansea, and they go back to their normal selves, 54-21. So I'm quite happy with that, and especially after seeing the result with Merthyr this week as well. They took another thumping. I was quite afraid of what the Rags might be bringing. But, after seeing Merthyr go down to Bridgend the same way they did Cardiff, I'm not bothered now.
Just to say, for Drover's next game, so Newport have played all their games, finished on 104 in the standings. Drover's got a game left, which is against Bridgend at home. Bridgend's 9th in the table. If it's a bonus point victory, Drovers go top and therefore would get a home final.
Yeah, they go top if they just win. They've won more games than Newport.
Oh, right.
So, any win will do. I'm imagining it's going to be a bonus point win because it's the Drovers. It's what they do.
On telly?
I'm hoping.
Yeah, it's on telly. It's on Thursday.
Oh, you sound excited.
I'm excited. In that game. Okay, in that game and the starting 15, we had Josh Morse, Harry Thomas, who bagged himself 2 tries, Ed Scragg, Max Page, and Cian Abraham, who also had a try.
Ed Scragg exists.
This week, as we just announced, Llandovery, he does exist, but only in small doses. Because I think he has a couple games and then 3 months off and then a couple games. It's just the way the selection process of the Scarlets is run. So, that first game this week is on Thursday night, Llandovery at home to Bridgend. Final game of the regular season before we go into the playoffs. The other game involving Carmarthen Quins is the Battle of the Bottom. Carmarthen Quins at home to Neath. That should be quite a battle. They've both improved a fair bit since Christmas. I think they were both on either 0 or 1 win at that point. And, they've picked up a couple over the last few months. So, good on the pair of them. But, Quins are winning that one. So, let's talk next.
Bit of a prelude to the EDC, which, oh, no, they didn't get selected. Moving on. Is there a time delay in between me and you or something?
Cool,
there is.
Okay. Into Championship West, Crymych went down 38-13 against Brecon. Llangennech won 59-18 at home to Ammanford. Narberth won 31-15 at home to Bonamine. And the big game of the week, Newcastle Emlyn won 66-19 at home to Maesteg Quins. That has put Newcastle Emlyn in 5th spot in that final promotion place. And we are going to find out on Thursday night if they're going to go up. Knew you'd like that.
Yeah.
On Thursday night, if they're going to go up, Dunvant have got 2 games left. One of them is against either Brecon or Llangennech, so they're not getting any points in that. But the other one is against Ystadllefaera, and that is this Thursday. So this is going to be when we find out if Newcastle Emlyn are going up or not. The other games for this week, on Friday night, Ammanford are hosting Bonamine. Onto the weekend, we got Dunvant at home to Llangennech. Yeah, I just said it. Narberth at home to Maesteg Quins. Drop down into 1 West. Games this week. Results this week, I should say. Aberystwyth won 50-21 at home to Ponta de Lais. Buryport, massive 64-20 win at home to Pencloud. Kidwelly won 55-39 away to Felinfol. And Llanelli Wanderers secured promotion to the new Championship West next season with a 30-12 away win over Hendy. So congratulations to Llanelli Wanderers. And for anyone who hasn't already listened to it, I recorded a mini bonus pod with Llanelli Wanderers this past week, talking about their cup victory the Millennium and their season so far, going for promotion, gaining it, and now for the title. So head coach Sean Gale, and to win that Division 1 Cup, they joined me and they told me all about the club. Brilliant club. Have a good listen. They're going up in the world. It's great to see. So fixtures for this week, we got One Eyelid hosting Llanelli Wanderers on Wednesday. Also on Wednesday, Felinfol hosting Gosainon. Then onto the weekend, we got Aberystwyth at home to Gowerton, Kidwelly at home to Gosainon, and Llanelli Wanderers travelling to Pencloud. This past week, not weekend, in the middle of the week, Brynaman actually took a massive step towards survival in Division 1 West Central with a 41-36 win over Morriston. Their next game now isn't this weekend. It's going into next week. So I've messed that up. I've messed that up.
Oh, has someone got your spreadsheet wrong, Matt? And it's you.
No, it's me. It's me.
Oh,
I've messed up the date.
my God, you've messed up your spreadsheet. Oh, you're going to have to give yourself grief for at least 2 weeks now, man.
Nah, I've just messed up the date. I was reading the wrong thing. Now, so they are playing Wednesday night as well against Birchgrove. A win should just be enough to see them through. A bonus point would be extra, obviously. But it's really tough going down the bottom of that league. Bridgend Athletic have got one game left who are literally, they got 4 points more than them, but their last game is against Tondi, who are trying to win the damn league. So I'm not imagining they get any points in that. So due to games won, 4 points should be enough for Burnham, and 5, I'm pretty sure would get the job done. But who knows how these things go. So everyone get behind Burnham on Wednesday. Down in Division 2 West, another midweek game. Lampeter won 70 points to 7 against Am United. Into the weekend, Croyce won 15-7 at home to Am United. Tenby won 38-16 away to Carmarthen Athletic. And the last game was a massive one in terms of the league. Nantgaredig 40, Fishguard 34. That has boosted Nantgaredig out of the relegation places, which is incredibly tight again. Fixtures for this week, again a Wednesday evening fixture, Carmarthen Athletic at home to Am United. Into the weekend, we got Am United at home to Lacha, Fishguard at home to Croyce, Tenby travelling for Milford, and then the game that means the most, Pontyberem in 11th place against Nantgaredig in 9th. It's both these teams' last games, and I don't want to see any team from, Carmarthenshire, Pembrokeshire, Ceredig Young go down, but someone has got to. The improvements Pontyberem have made this season have been incredible, so I really don't want to see them go down. They need to get a 5-0 match point win to secure that, so it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be very, very close, so that's a big one to watch out for if you're living in Gwendrive. 3 West A, last couple of games now. Haverfordwest winning 45-27 at home to Aberaeron, knocking Aberaeron out of the run-in for the league. Larne winning 87-3 at home to Langham. Fixture this we've got a midweek game, a big game. Larne at home to Haverfordwest. These are the 2 teams that are realistically fighting for that top spot. It's winner takes all. It's as simple as that. You win, you guaranteed promotion and the cup. You lose, that's the end of your season. And then on the weekend, we got Larne at home to Pembroke Dock Quins. Then 3 West B, midweek game, Drumsaran won 21-9 at home to New Dock Stars. Sorry, who. Into the weekend, Tumble won 14-7 away to Betos. First loss Betos taken all season. Llangadog winning 43-25 away to Binya. Furness winning 26-3 at home to Llandibby. Cefneithin putting a thumping on Tregaron, 52-26 away. And Llandailo winning 31-20 at home to away from Trimsaran, sorry. On to fixtures this week, we've got a really early one. So Tuesday night, Tumble are at home to Tregaron, straight through to the weekend then. Cefneithin at home to Binya, Llandailo at home to Llandibby, Betos travelling to Llangadog, and Trimsaran travelling to Tregaron. Last league now, boys, almost done. 5 West Central, Pantyfynon, winless all season, went down 70 points to 8 at home to Penlan. And then in a mini derby in this division, Pontiates won 38-5 away to Penderbank. Fixtures for this week is Pontiates at home to Seven Sisters. And that rounds up my community game, boys. Are we all still alive? Are we all breathing?
I'd say at this part of the season, you do just get some ridiculous scores. I think the last 2 games that Larne have played, one is 87-3 and the other one was like 70-5 or something like that. Do you know what I mean? They're at that part of the season where you're either all on fire and going for the top, or you're just where the boys are taking a couple of weeks early and they're off.
Did you see how many Newport put on Bridge Ends the other day?
That was in the 70s, wasn't it?
89.
89. Gee.
Just unreal.
Yeah.
That's the problem when you've got such fixture cramming into the end of the season. Boys can't get the time off work, can't make it to games, and you're just putting stringing sides together. And I don't know, it's not sort of ideal, really, is it, for anybody in the game?
No, well, I think a big fixture of it is the fact that we can't control our own weather, and obviously, especially down west, the rain does tend to stay down here a fair bit, especially if you're in Crymych. I think they had like 70% more rainfall than normal for the first 3 months of the year. So, that just goes to show a lot of investment by the WRU into the fields and pitches for all these clubs might go a long way. Probably not based on our weather forecast, but it just is what it is for us at this stage.
Crymych as a whole is just its own little weather system on its own. It's the most bizarre place to go, and the people in Crymych have no sense of temperature. It doesn't matter what
the bloody aliens.
You can. I mean, there isn't a massive main street in Crymych. There's the street that goes through the middle of Crymych, and that's it, right? So you drive into to the clubhouse, which is down the end and around the corner, and you've got the heating on in the car, and it's full blast, and there's a frost on the pitch, and there's some dickhead in shorts and t-shirts with sunglasses walking down the road, what the hell's going on?
Okay, in all fairness, that dickhead is probably me or someone just like me. I live in shorts year round.
Oh, it's bizarre.
Different breed in Crymych. They're made of strong stuff.
They are. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
Made of strong stuff now that way.
Yeah. Who's your club, Carwyn?
Well, so locality St Clair's, but growing up, I played for Newcastle Emlyn and Whitland because at that time St Clair's didn't have a junior section. But good to see that these days they have, and they're flourishing right through to the first team.
So I played my very first game of rugby in school on the pitch that is now the St Clair's pitch. That's where I played my very first game. Hat trick of tries in my first game because I wouldn't pass the ball. It was very, very simple. Just give me the ball and run. But in the old school, it's now the pitch that's there. What they've done for the club in St Clair's is fantastic, and you can see the benefit in their community results this season. Right, so next week, Mark, we'll do a full rundown of the leagues. This is where everyone's finished, and you can try and explain who's going up, who's going down, how many divisions there are, and who's turning purple because they've got no idea what's going on. Sound like a plan?
Well, that's going to be me because I've seen the WRU bloody National League sheet for this year, and honest to God, I can't make heads or tails of it. One thing I can do is second divisions are going to be allowed into the National Leagues next season, so that's something.
What do you mean second division? Well, there's a second.
Not second division. Second teams. So Drover seconds, Newcastle Emirates. Instead of having the the Castlewell League and all that, they'll be allowed into the national leagues.
Well, given that Drovers are supposed to be Scarlets kids next season, so what is Scarlets kids seconds?
Well, no, it's only their first team. When I spoke to Gary at the start of the season, he actually explained that the seconds team is filled with all local Llandudno boys who have either come through the system or they live in the area, where the first team, they come from wide and far. I know it's semi-professional, but these are paid players. They get the best players they can in to make the club better. So the second team is really their community club, and the chance for them to have the chance to just play in a proper national league, I think that's a good move, especially down west where we don't have a really high density of clubs, but we have got a high density of clubs with seconds and even thirds teams.
Doesn't that already happen in North Wales? Aren't the North Wales clubs already in the
Yeah. There's one club, I can't remember which one it is, but it's got the first team, a second team, and then the second team A. So and I think they had to take the second team A and make that into a separate club for somewhere else. So
that'll probably be Ruth, and they seem to have loads of bloody teams going.
Yeah. Full respect to them. Right, well, while we're talking about EDC and all of that, let's just very, very briefly talk about EDC Pod for next year. So that is going to go ahead. Martin is going to be involved in it. good luck anybody else trying to get a word in edgeways, because Martin will be on there. But we'll try and do some updates later in the season, just on how that's going to happen and what's going to happen and all of that kind of malarkey. The only difficulty is, Mart, colours. And so Scarlets podcast is red and red. The Ospreys podcast is black and white. The Dragons is black and yellow, and Cardiff is blue. What the hell colour do we put for the EDC pod?
Gold. I've said it's the gold standard of Welsh rugby.
Yeah, I think you're talking shit there, mate. It's
fucking Nigel Walker told me that. So.
Maybe a muddy colour, because guaranteed to get muddled in the water somewhere, or there'll be some.
Yes.
I actually think it could be really good. I actually think the EDC could be something really good. I know a lot of people are down on it. As long as you market it the right way and you tell people this is future regional players developing here. So like what New Zealand have with the I can't remember the NPC, what South Africa have with the Currie Cup. Like this could be that. You just need to buy into it, but knowing Wales, they probably won't tell anybody anything about it, and then everyone can be grumpy as usual.
I think it has to remain to be that, and not okay, we need to bend the rules a bit here and there. No, if it's purposely for the future of regional players, it has to remain as that, and not start taking on players who might be over the hill of rugby.
Yeah, well, I don't even think that's the main issue with it being a development for the regions. The biggest problem is the league structure, because what they've said it was going to be seems absolutely insane. You know, a 3-month season, September to November, and then a bloody 2-month cup season, February to March. So I think it's more the fact of we don't know what the season looks like, and that again, that comes down to comms and telling us what it's going to be like.
They don't know what it is.
No, they don't, do they? There's some bloke at the back going, "Say that again now, Mark. What was you doing there?" Hey boys, bring the fag packet. Martin's got an idea about how we do next season. Yeah, it's fingers crossed.
I'll be honest, if they listened to me, there'd be so much better things in the world. You know, that we wouldn't need for this bloody 12-team nation, shut up shop international competition coming in. No, we'd have to be promoting all of the European teams around, what we should be doing.
He's starting to get controversial, boys. We need to move on quickly. He's gonna find something in a minute. Right, let's talk about the Edinburgh game. So, Hugh, Carwyn, what did you make of?
Do you do three word?
Go on, yeah. Do the 3-word bit with the bit. So first of all, do the 3-word bit that the Ospreys nicked, and then do the
bastards.
Oh, I'm having that bit. I'm clipping that. Yeah.
So, Genuine, that was out of order, what the Osprey done there.
It must have been, because Hugh messaged me and went, "This is bang out of order. This is disgraceful. Look at this, bastards." And I was having my tea. I'm like, "Oh, Hugh's annoyed with something, love. Hang on, I just need to check and see if Hugh's okay." But yeah, they nicked our 3-word reaction. So what 3-word reactions did we get, mate?
Okay, James Nicholas Rogers says strength off bench. James Ray says we can't defend. Phil Breakspear says disappointing second 40. A lot of actual 3 words is this week. Very good.
Yeah, but there's one. You know the one that we're going to get to. Go on.
Phil Breakspear again. See, Phil, it was going well. 2 3-word thoughts is 6 words. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to disqualify you on a technicality there. Phil Manager says not great surprise. Jaden Luckett gives 2 words, so I'm not going to read that out.
Yeah.
Tony Barrett says awful second half. Mandy Tucker says signs of light. Mandy, we like you. Owen Leclerc says scared of dragons.
Yeah, he's a dragon support. He comments every week, but he comments about the dragons.
Andrew Goff says 4 words. Colin Robert says a long sentence, and then Owen Leclerc from before replies saying, "Good effort, but unfortunately you missed out on the 3-word target. Best of luck next time." So,
But
Daniel Owen again leaves lots of long ones, and then he leaves another one after that I'm not going to read out. Can't be bothered doing the Twitter ones. Do we even do Twitter ones?
We did, but it just went nuts. The bit I like was the fact that there's a Dragon supporter on our feed telling a Scarlet supporter about, and we say this every week, 3-word thoughts. It's just put it in 3 words. And so we've got this Dragon supporter telling off a Scarlet supporter on our feed about doing 4 words. And then they have this whole conversation going, I didn't know it was 3. Well, it says 3 words in the title. Does it? I thought we were just talking about the game. No, it says 3 words. So it's a whole load of hassle there. Carwyn, what did you make of the game, mate? What did you make of the Edinburgh game?
Well, for the first 40 minutes, I was glad I was sitting down, or I'd fallen over because I wasn't exactly sure what I was watching. But no, first 40, positive signs that things might be clicking, things starting to look a bit better, but unfortunately, to continue with the 3-word theme of the second half, same old story. Our tackling isn't good enough. Our defending is just shambolic, and it's clear that we're a side with no confidence. It's clear that we're a side who's had a season to forget. Let's be honest. If it wasn't for Cardiff, we'd be sitting on one win. So thank God they're in the league. But I don't know. I almost want this season to end tomorrow, and a lot of work on the field and off the field can happen over the summer, and that rebuilding starts. I know next season is going to be just as hard because obviously budget restraints and what have you means that we're not in the market for a all black centre of great quality like some of our Irish counterparts. But I think keeping the majority of the squad together is important because obviously they'll have had another pre-season together. But as for the Edinburgh game, it's just I was expecting it, but at half time I was thinking, ooh, am I going to be wrong for once? But nah. So that's a very long-winded way of saying I was disappointed with the game.
It was the same for all of us, wasn't it? Like you get to half time and you're dear to dreams. Hugh, tell us about your second half experience then, and tell us how your second half experience compared to your first half experience of watching Scarlets in Edinburgh.
Well, the first half was great. It was like supporting a team that had a chance of winning a rugby match, which doesn't happen very often for any of the teams that I support. But in the second half, it was one of those. It just got away from us again, and I don't know. It was one of those. You look at the scoreboard at the end of the game, and you think, "How's that happened?" Because we were competitive for a lot of it. It reminded me a lot of the Munster game at home, where there was a lot of battling. It was a battling performance for a while, and then just completely collapsed. And unfortunately, a lot of the issues that we've spoken about all season, not being able to play 80 minutes at this level, Dwayne Peel's reluctance to use the sub bench, which is something that I'm going to be doing a bit more of a stats dive on at some point this week, hopefully. It's just infuriating, and for all the comments that are about the defense and everyone understandably focusing on the number of points that we concede, like with like the second or third lowest scoring in terms of tries in the league. So for me, the attack is as much of a worry as the defense. I will say, like, the difference that Sam Costello makes to us is just enormous. We're a different team with him in 10 and someone else. Obviously, it was great to see Fafita and Lousy play to their best. It's always a joy to watch those two. I thought Dan Davis had a great game. I thought Johan Nicholas showed up well, fullback. And Ryan Elias was good, but he was on the pitch for way too long. So frustrating. It's just the same old, unfortunately. It's one of those, you're just used to it at this point.
So, Mart, I mean, how do we take something out of the Edinburgh game and bring it into the Sharks? I mean, what can you take from that Edinburgh game and then bring it forward to this week?
I mean, the first thing we're going to have to look at is, our defense was, it worked essentially for a good hour in that game. I mean, the first 2 tries came from us, loose kicking, and then just a bit of a lapse defending around the ruck with Dewey's first try. So, if we can just, follow that up a little bit, same as against Munster, we put in an impressive defensive display. We've done it again, but we just tail off towards the end. And like Hugh said, is Dwayne's reluctance to use the subs bench. Elias was out to see Plumtree probably should have been off on half time because he looked absolutely fucked. I don't think he was ready for this game. Never mind to be on a pitch for over an hour. And then if we look at, who we got on the bench to bring on, that's something that we can change massively. I mean, we look at our back row for our back row sub. We got a guy who hasn't played in 5 months. We got Dan Davis and Fafita. There's no way Fafita's coming off that pitch unless he's broken. So why on earth have we got an 8 on the bench? When Carwyn Tupelotu came on, admittedly, his carries, they carried a bit more intensity than normal, which was good to see. But we didn't need that in this type of match. We needed someone like Leatherbarrow or Ben Williams, a proper tackle fiend who's going to be there and is going to hit everything as much as they can. So same as if we look at our locks, we know that Craig and Lousy are our best locks by far, but we want to make sure they're on the pitch for as long as possible and in the game for as long as possible. So I would probably actually look at maybe having either Jack Price, probably not, or Morgan Jones, maybe start the game and have, Lousy or Craig, whichever one you want, coming off the bench, even if they're coming off on 30 minutes or half time, just, so that when those players, the weaker players are on the field, they've got that extra support around them. There's ways to negate the fact that we haven't got a fully fledged 23 able to compete. We just need to look at ways to maximize what we got. And there are simple ways of doing that.
Yeah, the people said, like, in the comments when we were talking about the substitutions, that we haven't got the depth on the bench, and one person said that we don't have depth at prop, and I'm like, four international props, mate. Even if you don't think any of them are that good, they're all of a similar level, so you can't say that some are clearly better than the other. The substitute, like Ryan Combeer replacing Tom Rogers on 70 minutes. What is that supposed to achieve? What does that fix?
Why have a winger on the bench unless he's a massive big ball carrier like James Lowe or Mason Grady? What is the absolute point?
And like Tom Rogers, maybe we'll come back to this after I've come to I'll come back to this. So the substitution, the double substitution of Cowder and Costello off on 73 minutes and sending Archie and Dan Jones on. 2 things. First, that is a big signal to the whole rest of the team. We've chucked in the towel here, guys. We're taking off our international halfbacks, and we're sending a kid on and a guy who, questions about whether he's going to be here next year. On you go. It's basically just sending the signal we've chucked it in. Any shape that we did have completely disappeared at that point for the last 3 minutes, for the last 7 minutes. No surprise that we conceded more tries after that, because all Archie and Dan Jones can do in that scenario is overplay. That's all they can do. They've gone into a game that's lost. All they can do is try it and take risks and chuck it about, and it's just going to make a bad situation worse. If the plan is to leave Costello on for the full 80, why even have a 10 on the bench? Like, push comes to shove, Johan Nicholas or Eddie James can fill in at 10 if there's a disaster with Costello. It's just, and pick the starting 15 with who you want to finish the game with in mind. Like, this is what all the best teams do. Like, the Springboks it's called the bomb squad, and they take pride of where the finishes of the game. Like you look at Leinster and Munster, how they've been picking teams lately. It's who do we want to be on the field at the end, and they are willing to pick a weaker first 15 to be stronger at the end. And coming back to Tom Rogers, I feel like I'm watching this guy's career fall apart in front of my eyes. Like he's stuck out there on the wing in a team that's playing badly. Yes, he got a try. But we all know his future is at fullback, but he's just not getting an opportunity there. And if you've got a player, a utility player in Johan Nicholas, who's there to fill in the gaps, why not put Rogers at 15 and put Nicholas on the wing? He can do a job, or even better, put Colmbeer on the wing and have Nicholas on the bench in the 23 jersey where he can cover multiple positions. All right, Carwyn, you come in, mate.
Hugh needs to breathe for a
solves
second.
that solves the subs issue then, isn't it? If you've got a player like Nicholas, who I don't like to brandish people as utility because I think the term was overused with Austin Healey and it's sort of but yeah, I don't understand Colmbeer on the bench. Does he know what his best 15 is? His best 23? Or is he just putting names into a hat and right, I need to pick 3 from the front row pot, 2 from the second row, 3 from the back, and so on and so on. Because we're 14 games into the league now, and I'm still baffled by his team selections. I get he wants to blend youth and experience, but I don't get why you would continuously leave a British and Irish Lion prop on the bench for no apparent reason. I don't know. I'm baffled by what he's trying to do with his team selection. I don't even know if he wants to win games as a head coach. I know he does seem gutted sitting in the stands, but there's never that sense of urgency to get back into a game. It's always things happen 2 or 3 minutes too late. It's very reactive. It's never proactive. Oh, if we do this change now, we could spring something in the opposition. No, we'll wait for them to score, and then we'll make the sub. It's too late then because they've scored. The game's gone away from us. I don't know.
Just to give the stat of it, like 70% of forward replacements in the URC this weekend were made by the 60th minute. By 65 minutes, we still had 3 unused forward subs on the bench.
What's the point? Last 15, they're not gonna change the game, are they?
Plumtree only came off because he was injured. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah, it's
so. Let's look at selection for this week then. Who do you put in the front row? Well, tell me your packs for this week. Mark, let's start with you. Who are you going to go front row?
Front row, I'm going to change it slightly. I'll have keep Wyn Jones and Ryan Elias, but I'll shift Harry O'Connor in there to start. Second row, I'm going to go with Sam Lowsey and Morgan Jones, just because of the reason I just talked about. I want to bring on Alex Craig at probably around the 30-35 minute mark, just so he's fresher for longer for the whole game. So we have got a second row pairing that can last the game. Back row, Fafita's obvious choice of date. I want to see, I think I'd like to see Ben Williams start at 6. Leatherbarrow's injured, so Dan Davis is 7, and then I'd have Plumtree on the bench, just because I think he could probably do a job for 25-30 minutes. I think he got a lot of work in regards to his match fitness, so I wouldn't want to start him again, even though it is against his old man.
I'd put him on the bench, but I'd make him sit in front of his dad, and every time his dad, I'd get him to turn up and go, "How's mum? What's Auntie Joan doing? What have I got to get my brother for Christmas?" Do you know what I mean? I just piss him off that way. So, Carwyn, backs, you get the joy of picking the backs for this week. Then who are you going to go with in the back line?
I'd stick with the halfbacks, as in they can control the game. Obviously, it all comes down to, again, how much ball we get from the forwards. Obviously, we're playing a South African side, a struggling South African side, so I'm going to be optimistic and say we get a bit of ball. I'd start Combier on one wing. And move Rodgers to fullback, and then centres. I wouldn't change too much in the back line. I just think we need ball. On paper that back. I bring in Combier, but on paper that back line looks dangerous. They just need to execute like we know they can. Just throw the rule book out the window this weekend. I think it's a must-win game. If we have to save anything from our season, if we can get a win against a South African side, regardless of where they are on the table, that's irrelevant. We've beaten a South African side. I think there's some sort of saving a miserable campaign. Throw caution to the wind. The ground will hopefully be a bit drier, and we can just let's go for it. Let's enjoy playing and watching the Scarlets again. It's been doom and gloom this year. We're getting towards the end of April. Let's have a bit of magic. Razzmatazz.
See, now what Carwyn is saying there is we need some drums and trumpets in the ground. See, this is the feeling I get.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
What he's saying is he wants Dwayne Gill away from the head coach position, then we should be all right. He's a great coach, but not a head coach. No, I wouldn't mind him taking over the attack. Just fully focus on the attack. But as a head coach, no.
Someone should focus on the attack.
Yeah. So, Catboy, you get to pick tactics and things of such nature for the Sharks game. What kind of game?
I think Jared Payne has had an impact on the defence. There's clearly a bigger desire to defend since he's come into that role. Who'd have thought? He's a defence coach. We play really narrow in attack. I've noticed we play between the 15s. We don't use things like under Pivac. We scored our best tries because overloading the wings. We'd have this move where we'd have 3 players on the far wing, and it would be an immediate overload. I've watched Bordeaux Begler a lot this season in the top 14. They love an overload on the wing. They love to go have a guy right on the touchline, a speedy winger right on the touchline, so the last defender has to watch him, and then you either do a miss pass to him and it's oh my God, Hollywood time, or it's a dummy, and they scored a try off a great dummy at the weekend. So I'd like us to see us use the wing more. Having Tommy Lewis and Combier as the wingers helps that because it's two speedy guys. I'd like to see Johnny Williams have the ball in his hand and have a look on his eyes like he knows what he's about to do. Just these things, just tactics, kick the ball. Kick the ball. And not out on the full.
I think you're asking for a lot of things there, mate. Okay, let's do some predictions. Let's wrap tonight up with some predictions.
Can I get my shark hat?
God.
Gotta cheer us all up and get my shark hat.
You have got your shark hat, haven't you? Go on then.
I've got a shark hat. Yeah.
Go on. Go get your shark's hat. Otherwise, he'll just be
from the start.
He'll just be. Yeah, he'll be stroppy all week. Otherwise, he'll be like a little 4-year-old. Well, you wouldn't let me wear my shark's hat, and it'll be a nightmare. I think when he comes back, we should all do start singing Baby Shark and doing the.
Yeah, I was going to ask: is it like a Sharks club hat or like a Baby Shark hat? I hope it's the Sharks face hat. Like, I'd be disappointed now if it's like an official merch, but
yeah, I've got a daffodil in the house somewhere.
Well, when my boy was down in South Africa this time last year, actually, it's on Facebook Memories, and he bloody cleared out the shark shop. He sat. Oh God!
Yes.
So for those of you listening and not watching on YouTube, go and watch on YouTube because Hugh has just turned up with a baby shark on his head. I so want you to go to the game on Friday and wear that. I think.
No, turn your blur off. I want to see that in all its glory.
How do I do that? Hang on.
Yeah, it's on video settings, isn't it? I can see it. It's fine, man.
Beat Blaze.
Oh.
Oh, that's lush. Look at that. And the side wheel. Oh, yeah.
Thing is, if you remain sort of sitting on your knees or kneeling down, it'll look like it's the shark that's talking when you give your predictions.
So, Hugh, stay there, Hugh, and give us your prediction for the week.
Do you want me to do some shall I do some Edinburgh stats?
No,
Not Edinburgh stats, shark stats. Hang on.
Yeah, go on.
So to be clear, this is about Sharks, the rugby team, not Sharks.
Duck down another quarter.
I do know a cool shark fact if you'd like to know it.
Yeah, in for a penny. Go on.
The sharks evolved on Earth before trees.
They've now evolved into hats.
Yeah.
And now they've evolved into hats. It's unbelievable. Right. Hang on a minute. Right. So sharks are generally quite far down the stats on everything because they're not very good. But unfortunately, being far down the stats is still above the Scarlets. But so they don't score very many points, not very many tries. They offload a lot, third most offloads in the league. Pretty middling for most other attacking stats. 15th best defense, so second worst. It says second worst defense in the league, but worst is Leinster. So take that with a pinch of salt. I don't think these stats are quite right. But tackles, they make a lot of tackles, blah, 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 blah. A lot of turnovers lost. They lost the most turnovers in the league, 215. We're kicking. They don't kick very much, but neither do we. Second fewest kicks in the league. Yeah, basically, the only good thing about them is their line out.
And their name.
Yeah, the only good thing about them is their line out. But we're the best line out stealers, so that's not going to help them very much, is it? So essentially, to sum it up, the Sharks aren't very good, but unfortunately, we're not very good either.
It's
so what's your prediction, Sharky?
Yeah, let's have your prediction. Yeah.
Oh, prediction. 25-23 to the Scarlets.
You're a Shark. You can't predict the Scarlets win. What's going on?
It's very difficult to take you seriously, Hugh. I'll be honest.
Someone's fondling your nose, but
yeah. Okay, you can come back now, Hugh. You can.
I prefer doing it like this.
You're gonna have to start calling him Shark Boy now. Right.
No, that's already taken.
Carwyn, your prediction for the Carwyn's gone.
Who's gone?
He's gone.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's Martin's job. That's Martin's call.
Stole my job.
Oh,
what the hell?
He's pressed the exit button. So, Martin, give us your prediction for the weekend, mate.
Yeah, I'll go a nice, simple 28-12 win to the Scarlets. I think we're going to get It's not going to happen because none of my predictions come true, but I'm just going to put it out there.
Okay. Hugh, what was your actual prediction again, Hugh? You predicted you did predict a win, didn't you?
25-23. I don't know why I've gone for that. There's no logic to it at all.
Yeah, no, I didn't think it was. Okay, I can't remember what I predicted on rap, so I can't remember how to make sure this ties up with it, but bollocks to it. I'm going to go for a good free-flowing game, and it'll be something like 33-32 to Scarlets. It'll be close, but at the end of the season where everyone just goes, okay, let's just throw. Yeah.
I just realised something.
What now?
Carwyn's gone. We only get 2 jokes.
Oh
no! Wait, no.
Sharky gets one.
Shark gets one.
Sharky gets one. I'm hoping Carwyn will come back because otherwise he's going to miss my job.
Right. This is a tradition now. Every time we play the Sharks, I'm going to wear this hat.
Yeah, I think it's a shame that we haven't got a Lions one for when we play the Lions.
Oh, I have got a Lions onesie.
There you go. See, now we're starting to get a theme. Bulls.
But can we get you full body on the camera?
Well, the important part of a lion is the mane, isn't it? So,
I mean, Martin, it doesn't really need much there.
We've already played the Lions.
Yeah, I was going to say how you've not got a part in the pantomime with a play. What was it?
Can't do a Dragons one. That's just a bit boring, isn't it, in Welsh rugby? Because we're all dragons. Like our logo's a dragon.
Yeah, my boy has got a Dragons hat from when we watched Wales a few years ago. I'm pretty sure that's around here somewhere.
I've got a Dragons bucket hat.
Right. Anyway, right. Hugh, ready, steady. You're too slow, Hugh. You're too slow there, mate. Right. Okay. Ready, steady.
Stop.
There we go. Right. Okay.
Do we know what's happened to Carwyn?
No, I thought you might come back in, but it's not. That's all right.
Sharky gets a joke even if he comes back. He missed his.
How do you get straight A's?
Iron them.
You use a ruler. I quite like that one. Right, Martin, are you ready? Here we go. Ready?
Stop.
There we go. Okay. What do you call the world's greatest dog detective?
I don't know.
Sherlock Bones.
Sherlock Bones, yes. But this point for Hugh, right?
That would have been funny if he didn't ruin it.
I know. Okay, so
Sharky with a
gets
different voice, please.
Yeah, you got to. It has to be South African. You have to be a South African voice. Ready? I've started. Say anytime.
Stop through.
Right. So, because it's so, what kind of? No, I can't do South African.
You're doing it. You were doing it good.
You said you could do one.
What kind of music do cheese fans listen to? It's
To cheese fans.
Cheese fans. What kind of music?
Yes.
What kind of music do cheese fans like to listen to? R&B.
Uh-huh.
I don't get that one.
It's R&B, except
R&B. Ah, shit, that joke. All right. Just as well that's out of the thing. Right. Okay, gents, we're done for another week. I was going to say thank you to Carwyn for joining us this week. Because
well, I'll be honest,
really
I think we rate him at least a D now. You know, that you go and disappear, you know, and I'm saying that. You've got to come back.
Yeah, we'll get Carwyn back. So if anybody wants to listen to Carwyn is one of our presenters on Pod Cymru. I'm very good he is too. And I hope we will have him back at some point in the future. So, gentlemen, Friday's game. Let's hope it's a full 80 minutes of joy, excitement, fun, and laughter. We shall catch up again next week. Do this all again next week. Oh, if you listen to the rap podcast, you'll hear me say about fan casting. If you're going to the game, send us a video from the game. Send us your instant reaction. Send us your 3-word thing. Just send us a little video. We'll put it all together. We'll do right. These are all the Scarlets fans video. We'll put a fan cast together. Everybody's thing at the game, and we'll just make a good hash of that. I say we. What I meant is Hugh will do it. Yeah, he will. Yeah. So Carwyn is literally on.
There we go.
Yes, he's back.
Literally, he's back just in time to say goodbye. And go on, Carwyn. Go on. Go on now. You know you want to. There he is. Hey, he's back.
Down. Sorry.
I
can't believe anyone would have the disrespect to disappear during a podcast. It's terrible.
But you know what this means? Carwyn gets to choose a joke.
Carwyn has a joke.
That's why he left, so he didn't have to do it. Right, Carwyn, you get to tell me to say stop at any time.
Stop.
There we go. Right, okay. These are dad jokes.
Well, he said knob then.
Where did the general keep his armies?
I know this one.
Go on then. Go on.
Up his sleeveys.
Up his sleeveys. There we go. Right. Carwyn, thank you for coming tonight. It's been a pleasure having you on board. Hopefully we'll get you back for a few more episodes. The hat, Hugh.
I love it. It stays on for next week.
It's got to. Gents, thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure, and we'll catch up and do it all again next week. All the best, boys. Good night.
Awesome stuff. Ciao, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Scarlets Fever podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Please subscribe, rate and review wherever you listen to us, as it really helps us spread the word. You can find us on all the usual social media channels or email us on welshregionalrugbypod@gmail.com. And remember, whatever the question, rugby. is always the answer.
Sports Social Podcast Network.